Good morning, Flossstube. I am Tamara. I am PD Stitcher here on YouTube and over on Instagram. This is my channel about cross stitch. Today is Sunday, July 9th, and this is Flossstube 76 for me. Welcome. If you are new here, welcome. I hope you will stick around, check things out. I love to make new friends in the Flossstube cross stitch community, so welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. Summer is halfway over. Can you believe it? It feels like it just started, and schools here are year round. So that was B Buster who just ran past. Milo is not here today. My son came and kidnapped Milo to take him over to his place for the morning to get some time with his friend. So Buster is a little bit on edge because he misses Milo. So if you hear him whine throughout this recording, I apologize in advance because he's been very, very, very whiny. But summer's half over. As I was saying, schools here are year-round, so the public schools will go back to school at the end of July, beginning of August. So summer literally is halfway over for our area. I know some of y'all, schools didn't even get out until mid to late June, so it's crazy. But this is not a channel about school. It is a channel about cross stitch. So, forgive me, my glasses keep sliding. I really need to get new ones. Hopefully I will get that done in the next few weeks. Where I'll find the time, not really sure. But, let's see what we have today. I'll try to stop swiveling, I'm sorry. I have a finish, yay! I have several works in progress or whips. And I have a little bit of stitchy acquisition or haul. I don't have typed notes or printed notes or handwritten notes. I do have everything on my computer, so it's right here, and I might be looking at it every now and then because I'm terrible at remembering what fabric things are on. So I'll need to look for most of them. Let's get started. Let's start with the finish. And this was housed in my Barefoot Needle Art penguin bag. And that's the only thing I don't like about it is the way they do their pouch bags. They just fold the fabric back. It's not a seam. It's literally all one piece of fabric. So the back, they're upside down. But that's okay because I look at the front most of the time anyways. So it was housed in my penguin bag. This one now I have to house something else, which I think I know what I'm putting in it. I'll talk about that when we get to plans. But this is December from the Cross-Eyed Cricket, part of the Cricket collection. This is one of the months. This is the last of my months that I needed to get done. I had I started working on these back in 2019 or 2020. I think 2020. This one I started in 2022, but I think the others I had started. And what I did is I would start on one and work on it, start on one and work on it. At one point I had the first 6 all going at one time, and then that got overwhelming. So then I started finishing those and then waiting before I started a new one. So this one I didn't start until June of 2022. So it took me almost 13 full months to finish, but it is now complete. This was where it was. The last time I showed you. And here is where it is now. And this was stitched on 32 count Picture This Plus sterling. Okay, the lighting is ridiculous. I apologize for that. So let's bring it up closer so you can see each one. I did have to backstitch the letters because the color fabric I chose was about the same color as the color for the letters. So I backstitched those just so that they could stand out a little bit. But it is done. They are all done. Now I can figure out how I want to finish them. I don't think I'm going to frame them. That would just be way too expensive. I'm going to try and find a long board, probably at Hobby Lobby or something, and finish them so that I can interchange them each month. But I'm not sure. I also don't know where I'm going to put them. And if you are not new here, then you know I don't really fully finish things. So I'm talking about fully finishing them all. It remains to be seen. But I'm excited that this is now done. And all of them. I ironed this the other day, and I'm not really sure where that crease came from when I folded it back up, because I did not fold it with the crease right there. But obviously I will iron it again before I fully finish it, whenever that will be. So all of them are done. And now I have to figure out what I want to do. I kind of know, I think, what I want to do with these. Stick around, that might be part of plans as well. Maybe. So I'll be stacking things on this table. Hopefully they won't fall over. So that was my one and only finish. That is my third finish for the year. I'm prolific, can't you tell? Oh, but that's okay. I tried to remember to unzip, so that those of you who watch Flossstubes wearing earbuds or ear headphones, that it won't kill you. However, I may have missed one or two. I hope I did not. So I have been very, very busy stitching. The last week of June, I had several projects I wanted to get to before the month ended. So I worked on something different every day for that last week or two, week and a half. And then since July has begun, I have not worked on as many. I've tried to put more stitches into the ones I'm working on, but they've still all been different just about than the ones I worked on in June. So the first one I'm going to show you is Royal Nutcrackers. These are not in the order that I stitched them in. They're just in the order that they got thrown into my thing, because I've been working on this month since I'm doing Christmas and winter in July. I say this is what it's going to look like. This is actually not what it is going to look like, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But this is Royal Nutcrackers. It is from Bobby G Designs. Here is where it was the last time I showed you. And I'm dropping floss on the floor. So in just a moment, I'll probably need to pick that up because I don't want it to stay there for two reasons. One, I'll forget which bag it came out of. And two, if it stays there too long, I have doggies that will come and want to share it. So this is where it is now. And it's got, the needle minder is from the Christmas box from Stitch and Button from this past Christmas. So I said I was going to talk about this. Y'all, I don't know what is up with this lighting. Is it better? It's a little better. Anyways, you see this guy right here. He is a tealy color. This guy right here, that is not teal. That is blue. It is lighter blue than the guy on the end, but that is blue. And these colors are really bright and vibrant. And it's not that these colors aren't, they're just not as bright and vibrant, and obviously that's a little bit better. They're just not as, and this guy, he's just not at all even the same color. But on the instructions, it talks about backstitching the green ornaments. And it's talking about the ones that are the same color as this nutcracker. Okay, first of all, there's no green on this at all. Even with the called for colors, there's no green. That is teal or turquoise. That is not green. So I'm not upset. It still looks good. I'm confused because I don't know if they changed the colors after this had been stitched for the cover art, or if it didn't photograph with the right colors. I don't know. I'm confused. What are your thoughts? What do you think happened? Is that green to you? Do you see green? Do you see that those are two completely different colors in what they are calling for and what was stitched on the cover art? It's baffling to me. But I like the pattern. It's a fun pattern. It's an easy stitch. I like the colors that are there. I'm not complaining about the colors that are there. I'm just confused by what they said it was supposed to be and what it looked like originally and what it is currently stitching up looking like. But that was on 32 count picture this plus fawn. Like I said, I'm terrible about remembering the fabrics. So the next one is January Celtic knots, and this is the cover photo. And here is where it was the last time I showed you. I use this for the for the DMC challenge in Magical Stitches. I'm so far behind. That, and there were DMC colors that were on there that I don't have, so I've just skipped them. And there's a couple that I need to get for other things anyway, so. This is on 40 count Grace Notes fabric Swiss Mocha. And here's where it is right now. So for the DMC challenge, you take, they have a list of 52 DMC colors, so you're supposed to do one a week. I think I'm up to week 9. We're halfway through the year, over halfway through the year, so I should be up to 26. I am not. I'm okay with that. But I do 100 stitches in that color if I don't have that color prominent in a piece I'm working on. So like if I know it's in, especially if it's something I have in Pattern Keeper and I can just click on that DMC number and find those in the full coverage if they're near where I'm already stitching. Now I'm not going to go 4 or 5 pages away, but if they're near where I'm already stitching, I'll go ahead and put those 100 in that so I get progress towards that. But I thought this would make a cute, I'm wanting to do all of the Celtic knots from that year. I want to say it's from 2006. Let me look. I did not write it down, but it says copyright 2006, so I think these are the 2006 Celtic knots. I want to do all of them from that year because they're just really fun, and maybe have them finished into some pillows, because you know I won't be finishing them into pillows. I don't sew. I really wish I could learn to sew. Let me rephrase. I could learn to sew. It will take me forever. I have tried. I took a sewing class when I was newly married, expecting my oldest. I took a sewing class at a local, back when we had a needle workshop here in my town. We no longer. They had a sewing class. You learned to sew bibs, and it was designed for new mamas. Yeah, no. I couldn't. I tried. The sewing machine and we had very different opinions on how to use it, how it should work. I couldn't figure out how to get I just couldn't. So my sewing skills are limited to in hand and embroidery and cross stitch and needlework, that type stuff, I can do those. I want to learn how to quilt. Obviously, I'm going to have to learn how to hand quilt because learning to use a machine, I don't think that would work for me. I am in awe of all of you who sew on a machine and make beautiful end products, and I envy you. I want to be like that. I am not. So that was January Celtic knots. The next one is Petite Rainbow Row. This is from CW Designs. This is what it's going to look like. And this is where it was the last time I showed you. Hold on just one moment. Sorry about that. My child texted me. She just went to the store and was asking if I needed anything, which was very kind of her. So, if you are new here, you don't maybe know that I live in South Carolina. I live in the PD region, which is why I am PD Stitcher. The PD region is a little bit west of Myrtle Beach. Most people have heard of Myrtle Beach. Charleston is where Rainbow Row is. For my the summer before my senior year in high school, I took a class at the College of Charleston called Charleston Architecture and got to go in like Rainbow Row and the old houses and some of the estates down there, and fascinating. Did I do anything with architecture? No, but I just thought it was very interesting. I love history. I love seeing all that. So I love that. So this pattern it speaks to my inner history nerd because I love the Charleston area. So I think I've already supposedly shown you where it was. If not, I've inserted it somewhere. But here's where it is now, and this is on, let me look, 32 count X Jude Designs Baby Sheep. Lord. I'm sorry, I don't iron my works in progress while they're in progress. I do iron when they are done, but so yes, there's a big huge crease right in the middle because I don't know why I decided to start this in the middle, and I have a ton of margin at the top and the bottom. I probably could have used this 3 more times for something. So when I picked this up the other day, I was confused. I don't know why. I thought this was on 40 count, so I started stitching 1/1 instead of 1/2, instead of 2/2. So I started with these little tree pieces, the greens. You can tell that they're a little bit more sparse. There's a little bit more fabric showing through, but I don't want to pull it all out. So help me out. This is my question for the day. Do I pull them all out? That's option A. Not the one I want. But if you say, if the general consensus is pull it out, it will look better to redo it correctly, I'll redo it. Option B is leave it like it is, and just those stitches will not be as thick. The rest of it, I'm going back to 2/2. It'll just be those few. I think it's maybe 20 something stitches total. Option 3 is go back over those stitches one more time. So make another X on top of that, so it's kind of like 2/2. Would that look good? Should I just do if I do it that way, should I do the full X? Should I just do the top leg again? What would you suggest? So, which one should I do? That is my question. And that is in this shamrock bag. show you the front, but I've got a cover because I didn't put the cover photo back in. Let me put the cover photo back in correctly so that you can't see my working copy of the pattern. I don't want to be breaking any copyright laws by sharing what the pattern looks like on YouTube. If I can get this to go back in. There we go. So, my friend Carrie at the Patient Stitcher made this bag. Is this not beautiful? I love it. It's gorgeous. I love the shamrocks. And yes, I'm aware that Petite Rainbow Row is not a St. Patrick's Day stitch. However, it's called Rainbow Row. And rainbows and shamrocks and pots of gold and all of that tend to go together in my brain. So it's being housed in a shamrock bag. I'm okay with that. It makes sense to me. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. It makes sense to me. Alright, so my next one is America, America, and this is from the Just Cross Stitch August 2020 issue. The artwork is by Ursula Michael. This is the cover art, and here is where it was the last time I showed you, and here is where it is now. I finished this America. I finished these little, I don't know if it's like a river, but I finished these long steps. The mountains and the trees were already there. I got Americ. I'm still missing the A. I finished all of this except for this right here. So I have not finished this bottom one. And I did the star and God. So it is getting there. This is on 32 count color and cotton King's Blue, which I thought was a very pretty blue for this. All right, next up, now we are almost in what I've been working on for Christmas or winter in July. This next one though is, this is World of Disney. This is the cover photo, and it is from ZAnna Cross Stitch on Etsy. I'm stitching this on 32 count white easy grid, and I'm stitching it 1/1. It's very small. Here is where it was the last time I showed you, and here is where it is now. I've done a good bit of all of this and this little set of trees right here. I haven't decided what I'm doing with this. Like how I'm stitching it. So I'm kind of doing, I guess it's called the typewriter method. I pick a color and just work, and pick a color and then just work, but then kind of not. I just kind of pick a color at random. It helps my inner ADHD child. I think I'm going to go across and do these two as far as my Q-snap will let me. And maybe a third page because that will fit here. And then either go across or go down after that. So it's just, I can't ever figure out how I want to stitch my full coverages. I change how I do it on the daily, it seems like. And none of my full coverages are being stitched the same way. So if you come here looking for advice on how to stitch a full coverage, you might get 4 or 5 different inputs from just me, because I stitch them all differently. That one I'm doing kind of full cross-country, extreme cross-country across a page. I might do something different on the next page. Who knows? Okay, so the next one is my Christmas stocking that I'm working on. This is Christmas Village stocking from Kooler Design Studio. This This is the cover photo, and here is what it looked like the last time I showed you. And I have to do a huge shout out to Vicky at Stitch and Button, because she commented on my last one when I was complaining about how stiff this Monaco was. And this is on 28 count antique white Monaco. And I was complaining about how stiff this Monaco was, and she suggested to iron it with steam. And I did. And y'all, it's still, I mean, it doesn't stand up on its own. It's still kind of stiff, but it's not like crunchy stiff. I can maneuver it now so much better. So this is one of my July Whip Go calls, and so I had to put 500 stitches in it, and I finished the bottom of the white in here. I did all of this purple, a good bit of this blue in through here. So it's getting there. I don't think this is going to be done for this Christmas. I'm not sure it's going to be done for Christmas 2024, but I'm getting there. Progress is progress, right? But Vic, thank you so much for the suggestion to iron it with steam. It has made a world of difference, and it did make it much, much easier for me to stitch on. I got those 500 stitches knocked out in 2 days. I was very happy. So, I have my backing board on my lap. I'm not using it for anything, but I have it sitting on my lap, so it keeps trying to slide off. All right, the next one is Welcome Winter. Here is the cover art, and here is where it was the last time I showed you. And this is stitched on 32 count Picture This Plus Oaken. I think I'm going to finish this month. I hope I'm going to finish. All I have left is the bottom of my little Mr. Snowman here. I think my favorite thing is the little owl. I love him. He's so cute. But all I have left is the little bottom of my snowman, and I think a couple of colors in his scarf. So if I actually like put some time into him, he will be done. I have some time. I need to figure out what I'm taking to some things. I am going to be going on a couple of day trips and a couple of longer trips. Well, one longer trip and a couple of day trips. So I need to take stitching with me, because I'll explain when I get into life, but I think this might be one of those that goes with me. But I'll have to probably take something else too, because I think I'll finish this quicker. Just 2 more. I told y'all I was a stitching fiend. There was a lot in the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Was that the last time I saw you was 2 weeks ago? Why does it seem like it's been 3? It might not have. Okay, my next one is Cardinal in the Snow. This is another one of my Christmas, winter, and July. Here is the cover art, and this is from X Squared Cross Stitch on Etsy, but I don't think you can find it in her shop anymore. Here is where it was the last time I showed you. And here is where it is now. I filled in all of this and some of this, and Buster's back whining with us. Hold on just one moment. So apparently Buster thinks if he whines enough, Milo's going to come back home. It's not going to bring him home any sooner. So this is where it is. I'm nowhere near close to stitching on the Cardinal. It makes me kind of sad. I really want to get to him. But the way this is a paper chart, and it did not work when I tried to get it to work with Pattern Keeper, so I'm having to stitch it off a paper chart. There's no overlapping, on the pages, and there's no 10 by 10 squares drawn. So I'm having to go in and draw the 10 by 10 squares so that I can count a little easier. I can't do it without the grid. Because of that, and because there's no overlap and it's hard for me to figure out, and I don't want to lay out all the pages and figure out what order they go in, I'm just working across the top. And then when I get to the end of the top, I'll go to the next row of pages, because that's the only way my brain can wrap around this patterns chart. And the last one, which is my focus piece for the year, is Christmas 2. Here is the cover photo, and this is from Heaven and Earth Designs. The artwork is from Ciro Marchetti. This is on 25 count easy grid, and I'm stitching this 2/1 tent stitch. Here is where it was the last time I showed you, and here is where I am now. I finished these 2 blocks right here. I haven't gotten a lot more done, but it's getting there, and I'm going to work across those. So I've done, like I said, I cannot decide what I want to do, how I want to stitch a full coverage. This one is also not on Pattern Keeper. The ones that are on Pattern Keeper, I'm okay doing some extreme cross country, working my way around on a page. This is not. Cardinal and Snow is not. Cardinal and the Snow, though, has large blocks of color. This one is so confetti heavy, it's ridiculous. So in order for me to be able to do this, I have to work one or 2 blocks at a time. So I was doing diagonal blocks and then diagonal pages, and then I switched to Royal Rose. I think I'm going to go back to diagonal blocks, but not diagonal pages. So I think I'm going to do diagonal blocks across a page and then finish and then go into the next page, because with the Royal Rose, I'm seeing lines. Like, I can feel the line right here where, even though I'm feathering a little, I still can feel the line right there. It's not, I don't think you can see it, but I can feel it, and that bothers me. So I think I'm going to go back to the diagonal squares, because when I was doing that, you could not see lines in the piece. So I'm going to finish this page doing the Royal Rose, and then I think the next page I'm going to do the diagonal squares. It worked for me before. I don't know why. I usually am of the opinion, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And the diagonal squares was working for me, but then I saw somebody doing Royal Rose, and I was like, oh, that looks really good. I think I can do that. I should have left it alone and done what was working for me. But it'll be okay. So this whole page I did in Royal Rose, and I can feel where I had where each set of rows of columns ended. So that is it for my works in progress. It was a lot. We're 32 minutes, and that was a lot of stitching stuff. All right, so I only have one little piece of stash acquisition, and this is the newest snowman called the Coachman from Cottage Garden Samplings. I get these delivered every month from Sammy J at Tiny Hummingbird Stitchery. I like them. I don't like all of them. I'm getting all of them, and I'll have to decide what I'm going to do with them, because I don't know if I want to stitch all of them. So some of them I really like. There are some I love, absolutely adore, and those will be getting stitched. This one, I don't know. Well, let me talk this through with y'all. And maybe y'all can give me some suggestions on how to make me like this a little bit more. Like, I see the little people here, the woman and the little snow child, and then the man in the cart, the coachman. But to me, when I look at this, I don't know if maybe it's because I'm from the South and Charleston and all of it. when I look at this, I see, because of the way this, I don't know why, but I see a funeral coach. Like, I expect it to be pulling back here a casket. I don't think that was the intention of this piece, but that's what my mind goes to. So help me figure out, would it be different if I stitched this part of the coach in something not black, so it wouldn't seem as funeral-like to me? I don't know. What is your thought? Hold on, just one moment. Okay. So now we're going into plans. Plans the rest of July is I'm going to work at least 2 days on each of my Christmas and winter pieces. And then if I have days left over at the end of the month, I will, hold on just one moment. My child will not stop texting me even though she knows I'm busy. That's okay. So, if I have time left over at the end of the month, I'll pull out some other things that are not Christmas or wintry. And then going into August, last month, well, it was last month. In my last video, I mentioned that August is my birthday month. And I was trying to decide what I wanted for my birthday start. The overwhelming consensus was to start the Fox from Cottage Garden Simplex. So, I will be starting the Fox on August 25th, which is my birthday, for anybody who wants to start it with me. I'd love for you to join me. So I'm trying to think of a hashtag for it. And the one that popped in my brain was Foxy Birthday Sal. What are your thoughts? So if you want to join in with me, I would love for you to start it. If you've already started it and you're still working on it, join in and stitch on it with me on the 25th of August. So you've got some time to plan. If you need to buy it, if you don't own it, if you were like me and you did not get it during the time it was really, really popular and you didn't stitch it during the time it was really, really popular when it first came out, stitch it with me in August. So those are my plans. Now life stuff. So if you're just here for the stitching, thank you for hanging out with me. Life. I've got a lot coming up. So this coming Saturday, my youngest child has a college ID soccer camp at a town about 3.5 hours away. It'll be all day on Saturday. I'm not going to the camp though. Like, I'm going to take her because she can't drive all that way. So I'll just be hanging out. So I'm going to be taking stitching. So I've got a whole day's worth of stitching I get to do then. And then the next weekend, I'm going to Boston with one of my other children because she's never been on a plane. And I want to do something fun with her. So, and, you know, she's going to be a college junior this year, and she's never been on a plane. I want her to learn how to navigate airports and stuff because she probably will be traveling in her future. And I want to help her guide through the whole navigation of airports because that can be a little overwhelming your first time. I know it was for me, and I went on an airplane for my very first time ever as a young mom with 2 small children with me, so that was a little bit overwhelming. So we're just going to Boston. We're going to go up on a Friday, come home on Sunday, basically spend that Saturday. She's a history person. Her major is history, so we're just going to do like a historical tour type thing on that Saturday and just get to enjoy a fun trip. So that's the next weekend. Then weekend after that, my youngest has soccer camp for her club team, and it's an hour and a half away. It's Friday evening, Saturday day, Sunday day. We're going to have to be driving back and forth because it's not an overnight camp. So again, I'll be taking stitching. I am hoping by then that the new needle workshop in Columbia, because that's where we'll be open. I think it will be. I think it's called the Kitten Stitcher or Stitchin' Kitten. I can't remember. I'm so sorry, but it's new to Columbia area in South Carolina, and I'm very excited. So I might try and pop by there, but I'll also just be hanging out in my car, probably with the air conditioning running, because it's really hot here in South Carolina in July. and doing some stitching. So I'm trying to figure out what projects I have that are easily portable, especially for the plane ride. I don't want to take a lot of excess floss and things like that. So that's all the stuff coming up. And then the middle of August, I'll be taking my next youngest child to college for her to start training and then start classes. And there's just a lot of changes coming up in the next few weeks, month or so. So I got a lot going on. I can't guarantee I'll be back here in 2 weeks. Like I said, that day I'll be flying back from Boston. I'm hoping to do it, to be able to film one when I get home that afternoon. We're flying back early. It's only a couple hours flight, but then it's another 2 hours drive from the airport because we don't fly out of anywhere close. We fly out of Charlotte because that's the best airport to fly out of near here. So that's a 2-hour drive. So maybe that evening. It might be a little bit later coming to you, or maybe even that Monday morning. We shall see. But that's what's going on in my life. So as I was saying earlier, I kind of mentioned this. I finished all of the months. I am coming up on my Flossstube anniversary on August 3rd. So whatever day I film that's near August 3rd, I think I'm going to do a giveaway for all 12 months. Like a big package, because I'm excited that I finished them. And I know there are other people out there who like them and don't have them. And if you, what are your thoughts? Would somebody want to win all of them? I feel like some people like have a couple and they don't need all 12. But I feel like if you won all 12, if some are duplicates, then you could give those away, and I'm fine with that. Once it's yours, it's yours. You can sell it. I don't care. What are your thoughts? Would that be a good giveaway for my Flossstube anniversary at the beginning of August? So it was really great hanging out with all of you. Thank you all for coming. I don't normally do the whole hit like, subscribe, bell notification. I don't usually, I do talk about it some at the beginning when I welcome everybody, but I don't tend to hit all those buzzwords at the end. But if you're hanging out here, I'd love to keep hanging out with you. So come back again. I should be back in a couple weeks. Bye, y'all.